Hey, Tech fans, this is Tommy McClelland with our second edition of Tech Talk. I'm here with NFL future Hall of Famer and legend, La Tech legend, Boston Scott of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Man, what's up? What's up?
And so Boston is here with us. Boston, I'm going to talk to you a little bit. You know, everybody's got their own version of the story and kind of how things occurred and what happened. And so why don't you talk us through your sequence of how, obviously, you weren't in season, but you were gearing up and certainly coming off a season, and just, you know, how this over the last 2 weeks have played out for you in your life.
Yeah, so, OTAs start usually if you have a new head coach, OTAs start as early as April 6th. And then for teams that have a head coach that's already in place, they start around the 20th. It was business as usual, just going through my daily routine of just working out at Traction Performance here in Baton Rouge with Ryan Clark, and just going through my daily routine. My dad had a stroke in 2018, so with that as well, I was taking him to speech therapy at Southern University, and he would have physical therapy 3 days a week at Klein Peter Physical Therapy. So, I was just going through my routine down here. I stay in Louisiana during the off season, just to stay in the heat, stay in the elements. There's nothing like down here in the South.
No doubt.
But, just trying to stay in this as much as I could and just stay in that routine so I could be ready whenever OTA started up. But once it started hitting social media, started hitting, hitting us on a global scale, I started to do a little bit of research and kind of find out, what is this thing going on? What is this thing going around? And, and now we're at the stage where it's a pandemic. It's really easy to transfer from person to person. So, we down here in the Big Easy, man, down this way, you had Mardi Gras, you had a lot of events going on. And so there's a lot of people together. And at the time, as a nation, I don't think that we really took into consideration the severity of, something like this, something that was, something that's contagious, something that, overall that we weren't very familiar with,
Sure.
And so the cases just rose. I think initially, it didn't look as bad, but I think what people don't understand is there wasn't a lot of availability of tests for people to take. So as more tests came in to, see if you actually had corona, the cases went up. And so, obviously you had schools shutting down left and right because people were getting it left and right. It started in New Orleans, I believe. And that was, like I said, you had Mardi Gras going on. So a lot of people coming in, a lot of people going out, people not really taking it seriously. I think there was a video that surfaced of, 8 or 9 cops having to break up Bourbon Street because they had just shut down the schools. And so people decided to go down to Bourbon Street and party. So, it's just a lot of stuff happened really fast.
Yep.
And then obviously you have social media blowing up about what it is, how to prevent it. And the best way to prevent it is to stay out of contact with other people. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the nature of the beast. And we didn't really approach it in the best way. So now, we are where we are.
Yeah.
And everything was shutting down, and Southern University shut down. They were giving my dad speech therapy twice a week, so he's still able to get physical therapy now. But now I've been taking him to my house, and my little sister's kind of been helping out. We've been trying to do the best we can to help him with speech therapy and stuff like that. So, but it's just a really tense, it's a very tense time right now. Because we don't know, you just don't know what, how long this thing's going to last, and how to get it under control. Vaccines can take a while to create and find. You have to go through trial after trial after trial to get it to a point to where it's safe to be taken. So, that's kind of where we're at right now. So I'm just doing the best that I can to practice social distancing, stay here at the house, buy food, stay away from restaurants. But as far as the NFL, we're learning as everybody else is. So, we don't really know a timetable on, how long it'll take, for this thing to clear up or not. But the best thing that we can do right now is just continue to stay in shape as best as we can.
And so on that, I mean, how are you doing that, Boston? I
Mhm.
mean, how are you? Obviously, you can't, run routes with guys. You can't, or what are you doing to maintain your body and to continue to be ready when that bell is called?
Yeah, yeah. So right now, I mean, I can't say as much about it, but I'm in an isolated place. It's
Sure,
no more than 5 people
gotcha.
at a time, just to keep it, because the guys that have been around, they haven't been exposed to as
Yeah,
much.
sure.
We've all been in this area, so yeah. So it's been very isolated, very confined. But I'm definitely staying in shape. But I know there's a lot of guys that don't have the same facilities, that don't have the access. So you see a lot of guys on social media that are doing at home workouts, which
Yeah.
you know we're in the age of technology now, so it's easy to have access to those things. And you know um, there's a lot of resources that you can find online to stay in shape. So that's what a lot of people are doing. But right now I'm in an isolated spot.
Yeah. Well, you had a remarkable year this past year, and all of Bulldog Nation was pulling for you, and it was just this. It's just an incredible story. I mean, we continue to just be so proud of you, and not only the football player that you are, but the man you are. And just talk about this past season and what kind of how that all went. I know that. I mean, I think I went out to the Cowboys game when you play the Cowboys, and we got to see you before the game. And later on, I learned that right before that game, you found out you're going to be returning punts. Like
Yeah.
literally,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
it's not like they gave you any heads up. You like, hey, go out there, you're returning punts. So
Yep.
just kind
Good
of talk
luck.
about yeah, talk about, and you actually did pretty good that game.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so talk about, your progression uh,
Mhm.
in the league at Philadelphia and then what that organization is like.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start off with the organization, man. I really love the organization, man. You can definitely feel the family environment. Everybody's real close knit. You can talk to any coach, any administrative person about anything you have going on at the moment, whether that's off the field, on the field. They're gonna do anything and everything that they can to make sure that you're taken care of. And I've felt that from the moment that I walked in. So whenever Howie Roseman first brought me in, going into in 2018, before they played the Rams, he made it clear what his intentions were with me, that he believed in me, that he had a vision for me. And so ever since then, I felt like they've stood by that, and they've had faith in me, and they've continued to let me develop. But really overall, I've just taken it as an opportunity to work on my craft. I got there, started off on the scout team. Had to kind of work my way up, work my way in on the depth chart, earn the respect of everybody there, because it's not, at the end of the day, they can like you as much as you can. You still got to produce,
Sure, no doubt.
so I just used the time that I was on the practice squad and the scout team to just work on my craft and get this work in against, at the time, for the past 2 years, we've had a very stingy run defense. And so I use that as an opportunity to really work on, what a lot of people don't believe that I can be good at, which is running in between the tackles. So
Sure.
that's one of many things that I've, taken, to heart, and that I've, committed to really working on. So as I continue to work, man, it's just opportunity came up. Guys got hurt, and that's just the nature of the game. And I got an opportunity to get in there and show them what I could do. But all in all, whenever I wasn't playing as much, it definitely was a mental battle. You know what I'm saying? Because I really wanted to get out there. I really wanted to be contributing, but I had to take a step back, and realize that God had brought me there for a reason. And, it's easy to get caught up in, oh, this isn't happening. Oh, that didn't happen. But the moment that I believe that I finally focused on what can I do right now where I'm at to work on who I am as a man, as a teammate, as a person, that's when I feel like things just started to kind of fall into line, And so I just did the best that I could to support, to learn as much as I could. It didn't matter if I was on practice squad,
Mhm.
whatever. I was bringing a notepad into every meeting. I was writing down notes, and I was preparing as though every week I was going to be the starter. I was going to be
Yep.
playing. And so when I finally was able to step into my opportunity, obviously I was young. I got out there, had some mistakes here and there that I needed to clean up, but at the end of the day, I believe the coaches saw that. I believe the administration saw that, and they were able to put trust in me, and I got better every time I touched the ball, every time I touched the field, and I ended up ending this season on a high note. So it's been a cool journey, man. It's really been cool. It's been a blessing.
Yeah, it was so much fun watching, and it did seem like that the Philadelphia fan base really just embraced you. You became kind of like this really cool thing. And I know you were doing these autograph sessions in the mall, and the line were wrapped around the building.
Yes, that was wild.
That's so wild. Awesome, But the thing about Boston is your personality is so contagious. You have a great smile, and the way that you approach life, it attracts people. And so, obviously you have to have that success, as you mentioned, on the field. But when you couple that with who you are, great things are going to happen for you. And we knew that when you were on our campus. Talk about when you got back in the locker room from the Monday night football game. I mean, how many text messages and Instagram messages and Twitter account messages did you have that night?
Yeah, it was wild. I've gotten to the point now where I'm just, and I'll have to apologize to people and stuff, because I've had to turn off all my notifications for social media, because every day it's something different. It's something new. Somebody mentioning me on whatever. But I mean, the support and the outpouring was really cool to see. Had a lot of family hitting me up, had a lot of friends hitting me up and everything. So the support of, the people that have been in my corners, it was overwhelming, so, the fact that I was able to go out there and, show everybody what I could do, and on a stage like that, it's really wild. It's really wild. So I was just happy to be able to represent, my family, represent God, and represent all the people that have supported me up to this point.
Well, you're doing a great job of representing us, for sure. So I've got several favorite memories of you, by the way, but, one very sentimental. We'll talk about another funny one later, but I don't know if you remember, but on the steps of the TAC, you're coming up, you had just found out, and the day before, Skip and I had a conversation, Coach Holt and I had a conversation about you. You were a walk-on at Louisiana Tech, and he said, "Hey, I want to put Boston on scholarship." I said, "Hey, I'm all for that." And he told you, I think that's probably before the fad of like the team and everything. I guess he just told you individually, and then he sent you over to come sign your paperwork and everything. And I got to see you, and I mean, you had the biggest smile on your face, and you told me. And then you talk about the providence, and God's intervention in your life, and the way you've been faithful. You were literally going to be scheduling a meeting with Skip to tell him that you couldn't afford college anymore, and you were going to go home. Am I right?
That would have been it. That would have been the quarter that I was going home. It was.
So just amazing story, man. We're just, so you and I have about the only thing that we have in common, because I'm not as fast as you, I'm not as good looking as you, but is that we were both walk-ons who earned scholarships. So we have that commonality. But it really, honestly, in my job, in my line of work, when we get an opportunity to see a student athlete who's earned that opportunity and get the scholarship, it really does me well, because I've been in that position. And I wanted to play because I loved the game. Yes, I wanted to get a degree, but I had to pay my own way. And then you finally get that respect, and you earn it for not only from your coaches, but your teammates. And then you got to go out there and continue to prove it. And you did that at Louisiana Tech. So talk about some of your favorite memories, other than obviously getting on scholarship, but just on the field, maybe what's a game that stands out to you when you're thinking about Louisiana Tech?
Yeah, man, I honestly just, the bowl games, man, those are just real fun times. And some of the storylines, you had the New Orleans Bowl where KD was, the touchdown leader, and it was like, I know after that, I think the quarterback from Navy or
Navy,
they were kind of battling it out, but just to see, him have the game that he did in a place like that, and that was my first time playing the Superdome, because I never got to make it there in high school.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of a
and
breakout game.
You had a big game in that game.
Yeah,
man.
That was kind of
Carlos got hurt in that game, and then Kenneth's jersey number fell off.
Yeah.
And then he had to wear Carlos's number to finish it out. But yeah, that was a remarkable game, and it was kind of a big breakout game for you.
Yep. I mean, it's just, but name one, the locker room, man, just just being able to spend time with those guys, you know, because it's a little different now being in the pros, man. Because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of dudes after a day of work, they're going home to their families, they're going home to their kids, they have other responsibilities. But you know, at Tech, you know, after you practice, it's like, what's up? Y'all trying to go to the house, you know, go to an apartment and, you know, go hang out, play games or something, or study. But
Sure, of course.
nah, but it's cool, man. But I would say, you know, those bowl games are definitely, you know, having Houston Bates, you know, going against Illinois and having one of the, you know, best games that he's had against them. I mean, just man, it's amazing to see, and just the success and everything that's been built there. You know, I really got there, you know, in 2013, whenever, you know, the Hill was still there, you know, so Dak wasn't there.
That's right.
Nothing was there. And so I've been able to really see the whole, you know, the sports complex just evolve, you know, the football, the field house and everything just completely evolve, and seeing what it was in 2013 and where it's at now, it just makes it that much more special for me. And that's why, you know, Tech is always going to be a special place for me, and all the people there, all the fans. You know, there's nothing like, you know, Joe Stadium and Russell. You know, it's very special to me. So, you know, I would say the main thing is, you know, the brotherhood. You know, the grind, going through with your guys, and just being able to joke around and have fun with those dudes on a day-to-day basis. That's probably, you know, the coolest thing about it.
Yeah, it really is. You know, I mean, having played as well, it's certainly, I remember games, I remember plays, but it is the things that you wind up dwelling on later on is that time forged with those friends and those people. And whether you move on professionally in some other sector, or whether you move on professionally in your sport like you have, it's still not the same. And you know, there's certainly a camaraderie, but it's not quite the same as it was when it was in college. And so, well, one of the things that you're most famous for at Louisiana Tech is being you stole the spotlight in our first ever Techspys awards. We had our first ever Techspys, and you came out with a talent, and you showed everybody you could dance. And I didn't know, maybe even though you're kind of in quarantine and you're there at the house, if maybe you still had it. I didn't know if you'd taken a step back, if you might want to show the Tech family maybe a couple of moves.
I got these headphones on, but you know, your boys always got it. It's always in the vault back here. I just gotta pull it out sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that was fun, man. I really enjoyed that. You know, that was my first time really doing that in front of, you know, people like that. So that was pretty cool. But you know, your boy got a little something.
Okay, well, let's see. I mean, I talk. Okay.
Yeah. A little something like that's all I got. That's the head.
You're limited by your headphones. Okay. And, you know, honestly, I was actually going to do it as well, but I have.
Come on, let me see what you got.
No, I got the headphones on, so you know, I just don't want to, you know, pull them out and make an embarrassment of it. And I also, you know, listen, this is interviews about you, and so I just don't want to steal the spotlight by showing you my dance moves.
Humble man. I like
who you got here? Who you got
my
here?
boy. I got my boy Dax here.
What's his name?
His name is Dax. D-A-X.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever I was in New Orleans, he came into my life. I went to a shelter and found him there. All the dogs were going crazy. They were going crazy at the shelter. And he was the only one. He was the only one sitting there looking straight at me. I'm like, yeah, he's coming home with me.
That's right.
So yeah, he's one of the best decisions I've ever made, man. So he's been thugging it out with me here in quarantine. we've been living.
Well, Boston, I appreciate you and Dax for joining us today on our second edition of Tech Talk. And listen, I do want to say this, man. I am so proud of you, and not only the player that you are, because you have the skills and God's given you that, but just the way that you're handling yourself, the professionalism, the way that you represent Louisiana Tech. I told everyone that would listen when you had that opportunity that if you just get on a team, they're going to fall in love with him. He's got the ability to do it, but those intangible things about going to film early and being responsible and not doing the things you shouldn't do is what's going to allow you to be very successful, not only in the NFL, but in life. I'm very proud of you, and I'm glad you joined me today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. Your leadership there is definitely it doesn't go unnoticed. So we
Thank you.
appreciate you and everything that you've done for the campus as well, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and hey, Bulldogs, baby.
Bulldogs, Bulldogs. Well, that's it for Talking Tech, and we'll catch you next episode. Thanks again to Boston Scott of the Philadelphia Eagles for joining us today.